name is Tori, and welcome to the Digital Coven. So you're curious about tarot, maybe a little bit overwhelmed. 78 cards, different suits, reversed meanings, it's a lot. So we're going to break it down together in what I'm calling Tarot 101. First of all, tarot is not about telling the future. It is about reflection, gaining insight, and asking the right questions to allow your intuition to speak louder than your doubts. It is basically learning the answers that are already inside of you. I am a little superstitious. Sometimes it feels a little bit like fortune telling, and I think that's okay as long as you take it seriously and understand that just because you pulled a card does not mean that something terrible is going to happen to you. The next thing I want to address is the myth that I remember hearing when I first started tarot is that you are not supposed to buy your own tarot deck. I was waiting forever, dropping hints to my husband, boyfriend at the time, that I wanted him to buy me a tarot deck, and eventually I was like, no, I'm doing it myself. I think that's a toxic myth, and if you want to go out and buy your own deck, do it, because it is entirely worth it, and there are so many cool options. So first we're going to talk about different decks. Traditionally, people's first deck is the Rider Tarot deck by Arthur Edward Waite. I hope I'm saying that right. And it's the traditional, oh no, these types of cards. And I do really like this deck, and it's very good for starting out. If you Google search card meanings, you're more likely than not to find the meanings for this specific deck. And they make a lot of cool versions of it. My favorite deck right now is the Tarot of the Divine. It comes in this box. It is probably the highest quality deck I own, and I don't think I spent any more than $25, which I think is standard. This is my daily deck. It's just gorgeous. Like look at this card. And it's textured. Like, that was probably terrible, I'm sorry. Just very, very high quality. They're thick. They're a good size. Some tarot cards are really big, and I'm not a fan of it. I think these are standard. Another one of my favorites is the Weird Cat Tarot. None of these are sponsored. These are decks I've bought myself and I enjoy. I actually don't think I have a deck that I don't like, but these are very cool. You can find all of these on Amazon, a metaphysical store. They're cute. They're small too, a lot easier to shuffle, which is good. I am a fan. So if you like quirky decks, this is a good one. You can find so many cool decks. The Crow Tarot. I'm not going to open all of these, but these are cool. Happy Halloween Tarot. The smaller decks are nice to carry like in your purse or something, your bag. And then I have the Rainbow Tarot. Again, I bought all of these by myself. You do not need to be gifted them. A couple of them are gifted, but these specific ones I have purchased. So something that I definitely recommend starting out. I've not used these very much. They're cute. But it is the Learning Tarot Rider Waite cards. And these are cool because if you look, they've got notes. Again, my tarot practice is more intuitive and less memorization because I'm never going to remember all of this, and I don't think it's necessary to remember them all, but the notes definitely help while you're starting out. So if you're curious and you're not sure where to start, you can try one of these decks. They have some really pretty ones too that just have notes. Now that the difference between tarot and oracle cards. Tarot cards have the basic 4 suits, the numbers, the major and minor arcana. Oracle cards are more specific, I guess, to the artist who has made them, and they are more single message, less interpretive. So this is my favorite oracle deck, and it is the Flowers of the Night Oracle. Again, gorgeous. And it comes with the book, and each card has its own meaning. These are big. I only use these sometimes. These you do have to look up the meanings, but I don't think it's, you only pull like one. So, but they're pretty big. And then, yeah, these are cool. Very pretty. They're shiny. They're a little awkward to shuffle, but oracle cards are easy because you just pull one most times. Some more oracle cards that I have are the Moon Witch oracle cards. These were a gift, and each card, it's the same thing. They're like symbolic and they all have a message with them. Another one that's very cool for yes/no questions are the Voice of the Soul's oracle. I got these at a metaphysical convention, and they actually have some yes or no. These are very pretty. They're thin. So this one just says abundance. I know they have some in here that say like yes or no, which is very cool. So definitely check these out. My favorite oracle deck that I did purchase myself is the Little Cryptid oracle. These are fun. But they're these tiny little cards and they're all cryptids. So there's Mothman, and it's just, see what I mean? You don't actually have to like know what the cards mean because it says fear at the bottom. Momo, confrontation. They're just so adorable. Oh my gosh, look. Nessie, so cute. Longevity. So these are cool if you don't want to learn all of the meanings. I'm not linking any of these, just Amazon, or go to your local witchy shop. There are so many cool ones, and I know that they could use your business more than Amazon ever could. A lot of these are from my local metaphysical shop. So in tarot, you have the 4 suits. There are cups, which are your feelings, your relationships, your intuition. There are wands, which are fire, creativity, and action. Swords are your thoughts, communication, and conflict. And then pentacles are the physical world, like money, health, things that are happening physically to you or that you can hold. That is something that if you can memorize that, it definitely helps a lot. Each suit tells a different part of the story. Once you've learned those, you're already halfway to reading like a total pro. Next is the major arcana versus the minor arcana. The major arcana are going to be your main cards, the ones that people recognize the most. They are the big soul lessons, chapters in your life. Think Judgment is a major arcana, or the Lovers, Death, the Tower. Those are major arcanas. The minor arcanas are your day-to-day plot points. They're like, oh, there's Death. It's the 6 of Swords. That would be a minor arcana. When it comes to reading, you are going to look for patterns, repeating numbers, dominant suits. I like to keep a journal, and then you know what cards you're pulling, and then that way over a period of time you can see, oh, I'm pulling a lot of swords or a lot of 5s, and then you can see what that means and how that applies to your situation at the current moment. Are you getting a lot of upright cards? Are you getting a lot of reverse cards? Pull a daily one, journal it, sit with it. You don't even have to memorize everything. You can just track it all in the beginning and then go back and see if you're noticing any connections and then actually read the cards. Also, if you're curious about learning more on what the cards mean and how to tap into your intuition to better understand and do readings for yourself or for others, I did write the Mini Guide to Tarot. I wrote this by myself. It's self-published on Amazon. I'll put that link below. And then also my link tree, I have an ebook version that's a little bit cheaper. It does give you all of my notes on what the major and minor arcana mean, how to recognize patterns in numbers in the suits, and there are also some spreads, which has some space where there's like blank pages where you can write, and I also have all these. So very cool. I put a lot of time into it. I actually did write this, and it took me weeks, and I've been practicing with it myself. So check that in the description. Okay. Next, we are going to talk about reversals. Every single card you can pull upright or you can pull reversed. Some people choose to not read the reversals. I choose to not read them unless I'm struggling with the read, as in if I think the card doesn't apply to me upright, I will actually read the reversal and decide if that fits my circumstance more. So with this card, the Death card, which a lot of people are very frightened of, but I actually enjoy pulling this card, I'm going to go through my book and find the Death card. And so for the Death card, you've got the normal pull, which is the initial keywords, which would be transformation, endings, release, shedding, cycles. But then the shadow side, the shadow side would be fear of change, resisting growth. So if the upside is that you are changing and growing, the shadow side would be that you're resisting that. So basically, more often than not, the shadow side is the reversal or the ignoring of the actual meaning of the card. So when it comes to reading, again, I don't like the memorization. It's good for starters, and if I'm just doing a quick reading, I will look up the meaning, but I like to do the initial thought. That's how you really tap into your intuition and learn how to read. So I shuffle. Sorry if this is loud. Normally I shuffle until a card aggressively falls out, because like if the universe is throwing it at me, then I'm gonna take it. Or if it just feels right. Ooh, so I pulled the Hierophant. Okay, so I'm just gonna go first. I know what the card means, but just based off initial vibe, the Hierophant feels, in my specific deck, she feels very strong. You know, like she's offering something. So that's the vibe that I get from that. So then you would look up the meaning. So when you look up the meaning, the Hierophant is a spiritual guide. So just like the vibe I got from the card just looking at it is that she is offering something. So this could indicate that someone is trying to offer me guidance and I need to listen. This would probably prompt me to pull another card just to get clarification. So then if I pull another card, the King of Cups. So in my card, it looks very protective, like he's guarding this cup. Okay, so the king, you know, that's just the initial vibe I get, that he's protecting his cup. We know that cups are emotions. So my initial thought, which may not be correct to the traditional meanings, but I trust my intuition more than some book. The book is just a tool to help me learn. So my initial feeling is that somebody, maybe my spirit guides or my ancestors or my goddess, are offering the insight that I need to protect my emotions or to be in charge and in control more of my emotions. So then I would connect that to how my week has been going or how my day has been going, probably journal this and wonder, are there any places in my life where I may not be protecting or being in control of my emotions? And then when you look up the King of Cups, it says emotionally intelligent, deeply compassionate, and leads with heart and balance. So it also might be suggesting that I need to lead with more balance and more compassion. And that's where you track the patterns over multiple pulls. If I can give any advice, is that your intuition is stronger than you think. And intuition is a muscle, a skill that you need to use it and practice with it in order to grow it. If you pull a card and you look at it and you're like, oh my gosh, I have no clue what this means, that's completely fine. The best way that I found to practice, because I still struggle with some cards initially too, is look at the card and then just jot down on some scrap paper what you think it means. Like, look at it, really focus on it, try to remember your suits, and then cross-reference it with whatever book or guide that you're using. And you'll be surprised at how close you get the more you do this. Another thing that you look out for when you read tarot would be numbers in cards. So each suit has 1 through 10, and each number has a meaning based on numerology. So ones or aces are typically beginnings, new starts. And then you've got 2s, which are paths. And then if you continue, you can go all the way. 3s would be growth, 4s, structure and rest, and so on and so forth. I will put a little bit of a list. If you join the Coven, I actually have a PDF of all of the numerology. If you're interested in a more in-depth of me actually going through and discussing every single suit and number and card, comment below. I think that will just be a little too long for this specific video since this is just an intro, but I definitely will if people are interested. So last would be the face cards, the page, the queen, and the king. And the page tends to be what I would consider the naive one. The queen is the divine feminine, and the king would be the divine masculine. So like when I pulled the King of Cups, it is the ruler and the one who is controlled over his emotions. Queens tend to give off a more nurturing vibe, and then pages are very innocent and forward, and they don't tend to think things through. So those cards can be kind of fun to pull. The last thing I'd like to address are spreads. I do have some spreads in my guide. You can Google search or look on Pinterest specifically is a really good place for any spread. The traditional, like what I see everywhere, is the 3-card spread, and it is past, present, future. And you would just pull and lay down your 3 cards and then read them based on where you've put them. Spreads are a really cool way to read for other people or for specific scenarios. Just know that you don't need to do spreads to get a good read. More often than not, I just pull a single card and then I pull clarity cards as I try to answer any questions that I might have. You do not need to be psychic to practice tarot. You just need curiosity in a deck. In some cases, you can use scrap paper and just write down all of these, or you can even use playing cards as a deck if you just assign the suits and the numerology to the deck. Grab your cards, trust yourself. You are more intuitive than you think. Thank you for watching, and don't forget, stay wild, stay grounded, and stay witchy. Bye. Don't forget to join the Digital Coven Discord for tarot talks in basically a giant witchy group chat, and I'm going to link that below. Okay, thank you.